down the fort saying we're going to be meeting every week at this bar, we're going to be coming together, and when the campaign calls for bodies or calls for signatures, we're going to produce them, we're going to make it happen. So we have an important announcement about that from Tom Conway. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Adam. I just want to say thanks to Adam for putting this together and for everyone who came out here in support. We can't do anything without everyone participating, so I just want to, you should all give yourselves a round of applause. This announcement is basically going out to people who are actually in Virginia. So if you're in Virginia, please listen up. We're dealing with the possibility of a broken convention, and as we know from the national strategy, Ron Paul's got a really good chance of winning this if we get him all the delegates necessary. Okay, right? So we're actually doing a delegate drive in Virginia. Some deadlines are coming up to pre-file in order to attend this convention to actually vote for our Ron Paul delegates. If you are from Virginia, please try and make your way sometime to this area where there's some floating balloons. This is where our meetup group's actually sitting around. We'll get your name and email address and contact information. We'll figure out everything for you. We'll find out what district you're in. We'll get you the appropriate documentation, tell you when you need to file it, deliver it for you. We'll even drive you to the convention, okay? But we can't do this without you guys participating. So everybody who's from Virginia, please make your way down here, and we'll be taking names and email addresses, all right? Okay, for liberty.
We've still got a really exciting program in front of us today. We have Zach Carter coming up, who you might know as our media coordinator. We have Lieutenant Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski. We have active duty Corporal Jesse Thorson. And following that, we have Tatiana Moroz, who's going to sing a song for us. James Gredler is going to do an acoustic version of Bombs. And of course, we have, as you heard earlier, Jordan Page. But right now, our next speaker, not a veteran, but and let me just say this as a means of admonition to the. We have Captain America with us now. I'm going to take that as an official endorsement from Captain America for Ron Paul. Unsurprisingly. But I just want to say, for all of the veterans that pitched in, for everybody that helped make this possible, the one that came out on top in the video contest was a civilian. And we're going to let him have a few words today. So everybody, please thank him for helping spread the word and getting so many of you here today. Thank him.
Hi, everybody. Well, the revolution is continuing and spreading far and wide in every state, various countries all around the globe. I would like to congratulate and honor every true American veterans who kept their oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, both foreign and domestic. We the people demand freedoms back. I also respect and honor those who are here, as well as the ones who couldn't be here, supporting a true cause of liberty. You guys are the true American patriots the founders were talking about. Ron Paul had the most donations from the military, which most of us know already. Common sense tells me these brave men and women want to come home to their loved ones and live in peace. People are getting tired of lies and after lies after lies, propaganda after propaganda, wars after wars after wars. When is it enough? It is our duty as true American patriots not to beg for our rights back. It is our job and duty to take it back. We are surrounded by bought-off politicians who only look out for their self-interest and sell false promises to the American public, but in reality, they only look out for themselves and special interest groups. And the bankers and the Fed, the only choice is Ron Paul for president 2012, end all the wars, end the IRS, sound money, repeal the Patriot Act, repeal the National Defense Authorization Act, and more power to the people. Because it is us who makes America, the true American patriots that stand up when we see wrong from the government. We the people refuse to stay silent. When they tell us to shut up, we say no. When they say more wars, we say bring them home. We got Rick Santorums, Newt Gingrich, Barack Obama, Mitt Romney, all banker corporate sellouts. More than selling themselves out, they sell every American public out at the same time. Only one man, Ron Paul, has been congressman for 12 terms, a doctor, presidential frontrunner, and he has also a veteran in Vietnam for 5 years, as well as Major League Baseball player in 1983. And delivered over 4,000 babies, a man of principle, integrity, courage, honor, a man who never flip-flopped and stayed true to his principles for more than 30 years. But in the end, it is up to us to take our country back. It is up to us to restore America. It is us who will be part of the history that no man, woman, or child will be able to ignore, and we all are part of changing the course of history. It is our duty as American patriots to do whatever we can to defend the Constitution of the United States of America and defend our country. Spread the message and let's take our country back. Thomas Jefferson once said, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. If we love America as true Americans, we must organize and take back our God-given liberties. Stand up, speak out, shout loud, yell, scream, get the message out. The revolution is here. Ron Paul 2012.
I think our next speaker is the only one who has lost more sleep over this event over the past month and a half than I have. And that's our media coordinator. He's done an incredible job reaching out, arranging for interviews, getting the word out, getting our press releases out, and done an incredible job. He also came in second in our contest. So I'm very proud to introduce Zach Carter.
Wow, I think we got some troops here to support Ron Paul. Yeah. We got David Williams, Chicago. You made it. Awesome. Right on, bro. I had a speech, but I'm throwing it out the window. Adam talked earlier about the importance of a clear and defined mission when we go to war. In 2001, I was sent to Kosovo. We were told we weren't going to be there much longer. I believe we're still there. In 2003, I rolled into Baghdad. My battalion was one of the first to Baghdad in OF1. And we were told that once we secured the airport, they would start sending in planes to take us home. We waited for 3 days at the airport, and those planes didn't come. They had told our families we were coming home. They had a parade planned for us back at Fort Stewart, Georgia. And we were told, sorry, you got to go into Baghdad and suppress the looting now. Well, we did that for a while. Well, not really. It was ridiculous. There were too many of them looting. They were even taking generators out of basements. Back to the airport, and again told, we're sending you home now. Days go by, waiting for our plane, and sorry, you got to go back into the city and suppress the insurgency. And that was 2003. I know that the media has told most of America that we're out of Iraq now, but there's still troops there. We built the biggest embassy on the planet in Baghdad. Exactly. and give us a clear and defined mission. Let us go to war, win the war, and come the hell home. Don't confuse me for a hippie. Because I support Ron Paul, I am not a hippie. I am not an anti-war, pro-peace guy. I don't have a problem with war when there is a real threat. Fight the war, win the war, come home. And you know, a lot of us here have lost friends. I lost 2 in Iraq. And this was after, you know, we felt we were done. Why? Why? Money! Exactly. Money. Not because we were defending our freedoms. I came home to less. And I came home to less freedoms. I saw it right away. When I flew home to Seattle, Washington from Fort Stewart, I was wearing my Class A dress uniform, and I was treated like a criminal by the TSA. And that was only the first of my experiences that opened my eyes to what the hell is going on in this country. When I was in the reserves, I did 3 years active and 4 in the reserves. When I was in the reserves, I looked into getting transferred to a National Guard unit on our border with Mexico. And when I learned that they didn't have the authority to apprehend people who were crossing the border illegally, when I learned that they didn't have the ammunition to defend themselves, and from my experiences in Kosovo, you know, we had the ammunition, we had the authority to apprehend people, we did it every day. And to learn that we can't do that in our own country, that struck me as more than wrong. It's madness, absolute madness. And we need a commander-in-chief who will say, we're done with the BS. Amen. It's time to take care of America again. It's time for Ron Paul. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here, getting the word out that Ron Paul is the choice of the troops. Thank you. And with that, my friend, Captain Eric Grote, who has an amazing story, and I am really glad he can be here all the way from Iowa.
Hi, I'm Captain Eric Grote. As Zach said, I'm from Iowa. I'm going to read you a little story that I wrote right after the South Carolina vote. It was on the Daily Pulse. Some of you might have seen it. Tonight, after reviewing the South Carolina results and reading post-caucus comments on Yahoo, I decided to go for a walk. Something you don't do lightly in 19-degree Iowa weather. I'm a 20-year Army and Air Force veteran, enlisted an officer, currently a retired captain. I'm one of the lucky vets, not missing any pieces or parts. I did not come back in a body bag like many of my brothers and sisters. I live part-time in Hampton, Iowa, and part-time near our base in Incirlik, Turkey, with my Turkish wife, Suna, near the Turkish base where we have our airmen stationed. If you have known someone who's been stationed there, she probably got their ticket for them, getting in and out of country. Suna had the chance to meet Dr. Paul, his wife Carol, his son Rand, and Rand's wife. She was very impressed with all of them as people and enjoyed hearing their message about peace and goodwill towards all nations. She told me she thinks that he's very much like Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, their George Washington. And it's the highest compliment a Turk can pay to an American statesman. I had the privilege of being on stage with Dr. Paul at Des Moines, Iowa, at the Veterans Rally on the 28th of December. I flew all the way back from Turkey to be here at the caucus in Iowa and also to speak for Dr. Paul. Truly, it's an honor I shan't forget. I won't forget it ever. Enough about me and my wife. Just say that we know that we're diehard fans of Dr. Paul, as soon as Mom used to say, before she died, that the only reason the world still survives is because there's always a few good people out there, and I see a hell of a lot of them out here with me today. I took my neighbor, Greg, to the Vets Rally with me. He's a Vietnam Marine, 2 tours over there. He was also with me on stage that night. He and his family are new converts to our candidate's cause. Next day after the speech, he placed a sign in his yard for Ron Paul. He told me he won't vote for anyone else. Since he's a former scout, Eagle Scout, and a Marine, I take him at his word. Now back to South Carolina and our 4th place finish. I know my brother, his family, and our many friends who voted for Ron were disappointed. I really had hoped for a 1st or 2nd place finish there. Didn't happen. I've read other posts about why 4th wasn't so bad. It stated that we picked up some delegates tonight, an A+ in my book, and that by keeping others in the race, it kind of splits up the vote. Also, we've been told Mitt was a shoo-in, and that didn't happen after South Carolina. I believe in a good doctor and his advisors around him. America likes an underdog in sports, politics, you name it, business. With the way he and his team are working, and the people here, after my walk and a breath of fresh air, I feel he cannot lose. Believe in freedom and the message. Evil, dark forces are really trying very hard to keep us in war. Do not let the vile message of fear and hate overtake you or your loved ones. Reach out to your fellow humans, gently encourage them to savor the message of peace and freedom, both economic and spirit. Find at least one more person to really hear Dr. Paul's message. Stay away from the dark side. Don't be a hater. Stay away from the vulgarity and malice towards the opponents we face. We will not win people to our side by calling names or using obscene language. Yes, some of the things I've seen thus far really make my blood boil. And I tell you, I would really like to rage against those things. It's oftentimes difficult to hold your speech or just plain whack somebody. But remember, our goal is freedom, and victory is our righteous cause. I am writing this for my daughter, whose mother, my first wife, was Iranian. Still, she's an American now. Yeah, she has distant relatives living there in Iran, my daughter does. And although you would never find a more devoted American, she's told me she'd like to see Iran someday, as it's somehow part of her cultural upbringing via her mother and her grandmother, who are now American citizens, though they were all born in Tehran. Additionally, I have 18 nieces and nephews, all 16 to 24 years old. I do not wish to see their precious lives, our future, destroyed in needless wars, so someone at Halliburton or KBR can get a fat dividend check. After my walk and a few thoughts put down here before you all, I will sleep good tonight, because I'm going to need it for round 4 coming up soon. Remember, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Bless you and our cause delivery. Ron Paul for the crowd.
Our next speaker today is a legend within this community. And if she isn't for any of you, she will be and she should be. She has been speaking out against the illegalities in our foreign policy for a long time. She has taken a very courageous stand. She is now running for Congress to represent Virginia's 6th District. And when you're running for office as a libertarian, it's easy to demonize your opponents for their statism, but hers was the author of SOPA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Lieutenant Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski.
Things that I want to talk to you about. First off, I'm actually running as a Republican. Okay, I'm actually following the Ron Paul model to some extent, standing up for the Constitution and liberty as a Republican within that two-party system. And I'm challenging an incumbent who you all know, Father Soap, and a few other things. Yeah, there's a couple things I want to tell you today, and I want to start out with. I was going to tell you about my 20-year military career. It started in 1982, and what occurred to me as I was thinking about that is in my entire lifetime, I have never lived in a country that had a formal, legal, constitutional declaration of war. Never, in my entire lifetime. We have not honored our Constitution. So everything that I could tell you about defending our country and being in the military has to be colored by the fact that we have never done anything in terms of the Constitution in all of our wars. But having said that, I started out 1982. It was the Cold War. Many of you here fought that Cold War. You remember it. If you're younger than that, you've read about it. Okay, and I was a Goldwater type Republican. I believed in defense. And I didn't really question it because I was in my 20s, and maybe I'm a little late, but I didn't question it that much in my 20s. And then the Cold War ended, 89, 90, Cold War ended. And I was getting ready to deploy over in Europe, and I remember thinking, if the Cold War is over and there's no more Warsaw Pact, well, there shouldn't be any NATO. So I was expecting that NATO... very much that NATO would basically fall apart in a peaceful relaxation, decentralization. There would be no more NATO. But in fact, the exact opposite happened. As you guys remember, the Warsaw Pact collapsed, the Soviet Union collapsed, NATO grew. It grew, it expanded its mission. And I remember wondering, because again, I was just in my early 30s and I wasn't that smart, and I didn't really know about Ron Paul then. I didn't understand about American history, and I did not understand why, when it should have collapsed, instead it grew larger. So then, we entered into a war. Many of you here served in the Gulf War. Undeclared. A lot of things we can talk about, we're not going to talk about. I will say one thing, from the folks that supported that war and fought in that war, prosecuted that war, we have lost, in the intervening years due to Gulf War syndrome and suicides and other things, more than we lost in Vietnam, more than 58,000 people, and you guys know that. This is a costly thing. This is not fun for the Congress. These wars have cost, and again, not declared. So we go on through that war, a kind of a contrived war, and finally I find myself in early 2000 working in the Pentagon, working at the Office of the Secretary of Defense. And I'm working in Near East South Asia affairs. I'm working in Middle East policy. I'm pushing papers. I'm reading intel. And I'm meeting political appointees, okay, from the Bush administration, from Dick Cheney's office, that are over there making policy. And what do you think the policy is that they want to make? That's right, more war. They want more war. They want war with Iraq. And so we're looking at the intel, of course, and we know what it says about Iraq's capabilities. It's a fourth-rate military power, very poor economy, no Navy, no Air Force, not much of an army. You have this country, but oh no, this is the devil. This is the country we're going to take out. So they make up a bunch of stories. You guys know it. The whole American people know it by now. In 2002 and 2003, we knew it to be lies. Many in the Pentagon knew it to be lies, and yet we put that out there. We promulgated that war and that invasion. And of course, we did it. And as I recall, 10 years have gone past since then. I got out. I retired. I started speaking out about it. initially I was criticized. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was anti-government. I was unpatriotic. And it turns out within a couple of years, by 2005, 2006, we all knew that we've been lied into war once again. So anyway, that's a little bit about my story. I want to tell you just a tiny bit about the campaign. And I give credit for me being in politics because I didn't want to do politics. I didn't want to run for an office, but I'm doing it in part because of the example, the inspiration that Ron Paul has given to all of us. Now, he did that campaign. Ron Paul, as you guys know here, and I don't know, at what point you discovered Ron Paul, but Ron Paul, of course, man of principle, commitment, honor, common sense, integrity. He's the man. I'm sorry. That is it. He ran for president, of course, as we know, 4 years ago, started the Tea Party movement, activated a lot more people. His popularity has only increased in real terms, in terms of real people. You in the military or with military service or affiliations know this because you understand his foreign policy is the constitutional foreign policy, the correct and just foreign policy, the smartest one. So you guys have got this, but actually the whole country is awakening to the answers that Ron Paul provides. And so I'm happy to be here as a Republican running a race in Virginia against an incumbent Republican. I'm happy to actually share with you what the Virginia Republican Party is putting out through their own channels. And what they're telling us, and it may not be for the right reasons, but what they are telling us is they would like to see Ron Paul win in Virginia on March 6th. Now the right reasons, of course, would be because he has the best fiscal policy, he has the best understanding of the Constitution, he's got the best backbone, the best moral character, the most experience, and the best understanding of what a real American foreign policy should look like. So those are all the right reasons. Those may not be the reasons that the Republican Party of Virginia wants him to win. However, it doesn't matter to me, because I want him to win, and I stand with the RP beyond that. So we're going to hope to see what happens. If you are Virginians, you know what to do. And the last thing that I wanted to say, I was told to limit my time here. I'm standing here in front of this massive obelisk named after George Washington. I'm not sure he would have appreciated that. He was a humble man in many ways, a soldier statesman, a reluctant president who very importantly and very unusually stepped down after his constitutionally limited term. Okay, this is something that in his day and age did not happen. It doesn't happen in our day and age either. So, we've got this, we're looking at this, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think George Washington would particularly care for that. But I'll tell you, there is somebody here that he does care about, that he would recognize. And you know what I'm going to say. But there's a man of principle, a man who serves, a man who understands what this country is about, who loves and respects and embraces the Constitution in everything that he does. George Washington would vote for him, George Washington would support him, and his name is Ron Paul!
Is there anybody here retired from the Navy named Sherry L. who would like to do some jumping jacks in exchange for her ID card? It wouldn't be a veterans event without a little hazing, right? I'll be right there in a second with it. But I just wanted to have this as a reminder for y'all. When we march in formation, we are asking everybody who is active or reserves to present proof of service. And we are doing that to maintain the integrity of our formation and the standard. And we are doing that with the interest not of having some legal documentation. We know that if you wanted to sneak into this formation, it wouldn't be that hard to fake it. We know that there are plenty of people out to sabotage this movement. But since we've got about an hour before we step off, Just want to remind people that if you can pull up a photograph on a smartphone, you might be able to convince one of my squad leaders that you're a veteran. We're going to be, and here's where the cutoff line is, and we've put out plenty of reminders about this online, but just dog tags are not going to cut it. Meat tags, however, that we would take. That's kind of the dividing line, but a VA ID, a retired ID, an expired ID, anything that could only be issued to a veteran or an active duty service member will be fine. DD-214 or photographs. Anyways, Sherry, I'll meet you right there. You won't have to do any jumping jacks. Just monkey fuckers. I don't like jumping jacks. Our next speaker is Corporal Jesse Thorson, the inspiration in large part for this event. And after the Iowa caucuses, for those of you that don't know the story, when he went to the Ron Paul after party in uniform, he was being interviewed by CNN live, broadcast around the world on the most high-tech network out there at the top of the production value scale, and all of a sudden he says, Israel can take care of herself, and the feed mysteriously starts to die out. We gotta be careful. When you're challenging the system, it's easy to get paranoid. But that was a little suspicious. That was, yeah, it smelled a little funny. But it doesn't matter because afterwards, while CNN still had their live feed camera that was now working, trained on the stage, Ron Paul brought this man back up to finish his remarks. He's continued to speak out. He posted a video in his civilian attire that he posted on his own time and made clear in which he was speaking on his own behalf and not on behalf of the military or in any official government capacity. And he was asked by his command to take it down. I was very fortunate to have ripped a version of it before then. We were able to republish it and get the word out. But I'm honored right now to be able to follow in Dr. Paul's footsteps and welcome to the stage, Corporal Jesse Thorson. How's everybody doing? Who's ready for a march? And an awesome after party afterwards with some great bands. I want to thank a lot of people first, Adam Kokesh, Nathan Cox, all the organizers of this event. And most importantly, everybody out here today who's here right now, the people who've carpooled, the people who've traveled all the way across the country. I want to thank every veteran out there who served. My beautiful wife who's here in the crowd, 5 months pregnant with our daughter. We just found out we're having a daughter on Friday. And I want to specifically thank every family member and spouse out there because I know your jobs are just as tough as ours. Thank you. You don't get enough credit for that. Like many of you already know, I was the reservist that went up and spoke at the Iowa caucus, and Ron Paul invited me on stage. Got to go up to his room and meet him, and I was completely humbled by how sincere and genuine he really is. When he shook my hand and kind of squinted his eyes and smiled the way he does, I could tell he was happy meeting me, and I think that was awesome. And I apologize for the hoarse voice, by the way. I've been screaming Ron Paul Revolution for so long that it's starting to go out on me. You know, the biggest issue there was that military people do support Ron Paul in a big way because we appreciate his idea on foreign policy. We appreciate his care for us. He supports us, and we are going to support him. I came up here today and I didn't write anything down. I didn't script anything. I didn't rehearse anything. I said I'm just going to speak from the heart. And I don't feel like I'm addressing 1,000 Ron Paul supporters. I'm addressing 1,000 of my brothers and sisters out there. And I think it's amazing that everybody's coming together in this way to bring awareness and to spread Ron Paul's message. I also want to point out that as a lot of veterans, there are a lot of people that are slipping through the cracks of the system. They're coming home and they've spent a year overseas
and the government's handing them a piece of paper saying, okay, I know you've been gone for a year. Are you having sleep problems? Are you having anxiety problems? And you're looking at this piece of paper going, if I check yes, I'm going to be stuck here for another 2 months. Screw this, I want to go home and see my family. So we all pencil in no, no, no on everything, and then we avoid the real issues of substance abuse and PTSD and the problems that are occurring to these soldiers when they come home. These are the real issues. I don't think enough veterans are getting the kind of care that they deserve. The substandard kind of health care that they're getting. I was sent to a dentist recently to get a root canal done, and I couldn't get a cap put on it because the Army won't pay for it. Joe Blow can go to a dentist and get the same tooth with the cap, but as an American veteran, we can't get that kind of care. And I think that this is wrong, and we need to keep raising our voices and speaking out against this kind of stuff. I think also that the censorship that the media, that the government is putting on us is wrong. I was at drill last weekend, and I wasn't even going to bring this up, but you know what, screw it, I'm already speaking. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I was at drill last weekend, and me and about 6 or 7 Ron Paul supporters, while we were standing around doing nothing because there wasn't much to do, we're sitting here talking about Ron Paul and politics. And a lieutenant came up to us and said, you guys cannot talk about politics or religion while you're in uniform. And I respectfully said to him, sir, I don't think that's a little overboard that we're not allowed to talk about religion or politics? What, we're going to fire every chaplain in the military now? And he said, hey, this came down from higher. If you got a problem with it, put it up through your chain of command. So I did. I put it up to my squad leader, and I said, hey, why are we not being able to talk about religion or politics in uniform? I'm still waiting on an answer, by the way. You all know how the military grinds, and it tends to grind very slowly.
Because there's no freedom!
That's right, that's right. They keep... We are being censored. Even today, there are active duty service members out there that aren't even allowed to take part in this march. They have to be here as spectators. And this is ridiculous. They're on their own time in civilian clothes supporting what we have vowed to support, which is our constitutional freedoms. And not only did we vow to support the Constitution and to defend our country, but we've taken basically an oath to support Americans. And that's why we're here today.
It's our blood!
It doesn't end with a 4-year contract. When we get out of the service, we're still trying to take care of every American out there by endorsing candidates like Ron Paul, by supporting people through different channels. I think this is amazing. I look out here today and I see 1,000 people that believe in what they believe in and are not afraid to exercise their First Amendment right in that. And that is American. And so, we come to our nation's capital today, to the epicenter of the political corruption that's happening in this country, to march on the White House and to show the world that Ron Paul is the choice of the troops. That's really it. Hey, but this after party is going to be great. Jordan Page and Rebel Inc. and Golden State and Amy Allen, the forefront man for Misfits. It's going to be awesome. We're all Ron Paul supporters. We're all brothers and sisters in arms. Even if you're a family member, you're still one of our pieces of family. And I'm so humbled and honored to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Go Ron Paul!
I hope you all found him as inspiring as we did. Oh, we moved? All right.
Yeah.
I'll just use my NCO voice. Well, I hope you all found Jesse Thorson as inspiring as we did. We're just going to reconfigure the sound stage here for a second, and we're going to hear a song from Tatiana Moroz, who was one of the winners of our video contest, and James Grundler from Golden State, and Jordan Page. So if you'll just give us a second here. But again, I want to give a couple warning orders for forming up, and when they're done playing, you'll get the full briefing as to where we're going to be meeting up and everything. When we're done with this, on the command, fall in. Everybody remembers that one, right? On the command, fall in, we're going to go ahead and in an orderly mob fashion, move down the sidewalk here to Constitution Avenue and 15th Street. And when you get there, you'll see my squad leaders already lined up and the guides for our formation. And we're going to ask you to fall in behind them and in line, do your dress right dress. Does everybody, if you were in the Air Force, dress right dress, ready, front. We'll also give everybody an opportunity to practice their about face. See if I fall over.
Nice to see.
We want some snap and pop today. We want to keep our ceremonial bearing and our discipline, and we are here to send a serious message. We're going to have a vehicle trailing the formation for anybody who is not able to actually physically, any veterans that are not able to physically march with us. It is marked disabled veterans for Ron Paul. And we'll be picking up people for that on the far side of the stage here. In the formation, like I said, we'll have a chance to do a couple practices. But what we're going to be doing is marching north on 15th Street to Pennsylvania Avenue. Does anybody want to do a proper 8-rank column left while we're doing this formation? No? We have a few days to rehearse that. Okay, we will be doing a gradual curving column left. So if you're on the inner ranks, you just need to remember to choke up there. We're going to be coming to our formation position in front of the White House, front and center. And at that point, we'll be marching up with the White House on your left. You'll be given the command, left face. Actually, I take that back first, because I know how much you've been practicing marching in that perfect formation style. We're going to be doing a little mark time when we come to our position. Everybody remember, this is not mark time. This is mark time. I don't have to tell any Marines that, right? Okay. All right. Marines, set the example. Make all those hours of drill that you hated so bad in boot camp pay off today. We're going to come to a halt, left face, dress right dress, to make the formation look neat right there in front of the White House. One more note, when we form up, if you are unsure that you will be able to keep up with the march, or if you are unsure that you will be able to stand still without passing out for the approximately 40 minutes that we're going to be conducting this ceremony, we still want you to be in the formation. Just don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm going to fall into the rear, just in case. If you feel at any point that you have to step out, simply maintain your bearing, make a right face, and orderly remove yourself from the procession. That is perfectly acceptable. And the reason I say that is because, well, what we wanted to do originally was hold a hand salute for a second for every soldier that has died in combat since Obama took office. And there are more soldiers who have died in combat since Obama took office than there are muscle fibers in your shoulder that will last for the 40 minutes it would take to honor all of them that way. So what we're going to be doing, actually I'm sorry, 20 minutes. But what we're going to be doing is holding a flag folding ceremony. And when we pull up and do our left face and our dress right dress, you'll hear the command, about face. There's that point at which we will, in a symbolic repudiation of Barack Obama and his continuation of the status quo of foreign policy, turn our backs on the White House. There were a couple of people that took issue with this in planning the event, and that it might be a little too confrontational, that it might offend some people. And I told them, they said, there might be some people that might not come to this event because they don't want to make that statement. That might be a little too harsh. And I said, yeah, but that's why all of these people are here. So I'm going to walk around to the other side of the formation and order present colors, and we'll have a flag folding ceremony. And I will be there holding the folded flag, and we will hold a hand salute for 8 minutes. And that is 1 second for just the active troops who have committed suicide while Barack Obama was their commander-in-chief. For just them, we will be holding that hand salute for 8 minutes. At that point, you'll get the command order arms, parade rest. And when I give the command, let us pray, as we did in boot camp. I don't know for the other services, but for the Marines at least, back in my day, when we graduated from boot camp. You know, I gotta say, it's really kind of an honor to see so many veterans and active duty guys here today who are younger than me. You make me feel old, Corps. The command will be, let us pray. And that will be the position you will be holding for 21 minutes. To honor the honor the soldiers that have died in combat with Barack Obama as Commander-in-Chief. And at the end of 21 minutes, I'm simply going to say amen. And I would ask that those who can hear me repeat the command at just a normal speaking voice, amen, until everybody in the formation is standing back with their heads vertical at parade rest. We then call the formation to attention, and without giving an about face, simply a left face, we will depart from the White House. So, I think we've covered everything. Are we ready for for our musical interlude? All right, excellent. Did I miss anything?
Is Obama there?
Is Obama at the White House today? I don't know. I don't care.
Playing golf.
If you would like to remove your cover, on the command, let us pray, that would certainly be appropriate.
Do we salute if we don't have a cover on?
If you do not have a cover on, you will still salute. This is not you are not on duty. You are not required to be in uniform to make this symbolic gesture. I know I must have covered everything. We got a lot of people here. We only got 2 questions. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Tatiana Moroz.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tatiana Moroz. I'm really happy to be here. I'm honored to be here. I'm going to do Bob Dylan's Masters of War. Testing? Okay. I don't think that's it. It's gonna be like the hard rock version. I'm your masters of war. You that build all time.
Tatiana.
Yeah.
Just unplug it and send it to the front. They'll listen to you. You got it, girl.
Masters of war. You that build all time. You that build that thing. You that build all time. You that hide behind walls. You that hide behind fence. I just want you to know I can see through your mask.
Never done nothing.
You ain't never done nothing. Nothing's wrong. You play with my world like it's your little toy. You put a gun in his hand and you hide from his eyes. And you turn and run farther when the flash of his eyes. Like through the you lie in the sea. World war to be won. You want me to believe, but I see through your eyes, and I see through your brain, like I see through the water that runs down my drain. All the triggers for the others to cry. Then you sit back and watch as the death count gets high. You hide in your mansions while young people's blood flows out of their bodies and is buried in the mud. Words that can never be heard. Here to bring children into the world. For threatening my baby, unborn and unnamed. You ain't worth the blood that runs in your veins. How much do I know? To talk out of turn. You might say that I'm young. You might say I'm unheard. But there's one thing I know. Though I'm
Ladies and gentlemen, I am on the air right now on InfoWars with Mike Adams filling in for Alex Jones. Do we have any fans of that? Thank you very much. James Grundler, ladies and gentlemen. You're up.
Say thank you so much for all your sacrifices. Seriously, we wouldn't be able to do this without your help. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. So this is for you. This is called End This War. This is the bomb song for Ron Paul. You guys might have heard of it. And when we sing End This War, I want you all to sing it with me. All right? Yeah. All right, here we go. End this war. These walls start to break and crack, but nothing is built to last. My patience are running thin, but I know I can't let go or give in. If we make the choice to walk it's not impossible.